bomb from A-Rod. That's right, quoting John Sterling right here on the Sports Sit-Down. Mike Damergis has joined us as our Yankees analyst, and Jersey Joe Archino, of course, on my right. Guys, will we be hearing that phrase a lot this year, Mike? I know early in the spring we've seen A-Rod come back with the ability to hit the long ball. Can he continue it through the regular season?
Let me just tell you about spring training exhibition games 1992. The New York Jets under Browning Nagel, 5-0. They finished the year 4-12. After 1 year, Nagel was gone. I won't look too much into it, but it is encouraging, and the Yankees do need something from A-Rod this year. Look, if he could give us 15 to 20 home runs, bat 260, maybe driving 50 or 60 runs, that's all you could really expect from this guy.
I'm with you. I mean, look, they actually do need him. I'm not crazy about him being on the team. I just think when you look at his track record, I just don't like the way he's conducted himself, how he's treated the fans, the organization. I know he's apologized. He said all the right things, but it still doesn't really do much for me. And I'll be honest, I don't expect much from the Yankees this year. I think they're really blurring that line of mediocrity, and I hate when teams are stuck in that position where they really can't compete, but at the same time, they're not terrible. You're really going nowhere, and I really just think that's what I'm thinking for the Yankees this year. They're about the same team they were last year, maybe a little better.
You know what, though? Let me just say this. Your generation of fans really has been spoiled. I grew up in the time where even when the Yankees weren't winning, in the 70s, they brought in Reggie Goose, won a couple of world championships, and Thurman passed away in 79. Then they brought in Winfield in 81. They made the World Series. They wound up losing to the Dodgers. And then you had that whole decade where they brought in players like Ricky Henderson and so forth. They won more teams than any other team in the 80s, but they never could go over the top because they never had the pitching. Then Steinbrenner got suspended out of baseball for the whole Howard Spear stuff, the Dave Winfield gambling and whatnot. And the team really went downhill from 89 to 92, and then had the resurgence in 93. This is kind of different in the sense that this Steinbrenner family, now that George is gone, is not willing to exceed the payroll. He wants to stay within that bounds. He wants to be conservative. He doesn't want to spend like the Dodgers are spending. Why not? This team makes money. Spend the money. Are you kidding me? This is the New York Yankees.
I have an answer for that, Joe, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Well, I think what's happening here is that the Yankees are realizing that they have been spending the money, and look at what they've brought over. Brian McCann, listen, they're paying a lot of money for this guy. What did he really do for this team last year? Mark Teixeira, they spent money on him. He broke down. Jacoby Ellsbury. These guys, they're spending the money for these guys, but yet again, they're not winning. I think what's happening is they're realizing that the farm system is dry. There's nobody left.
Well, we were talking about that for years, that the farm system is dry as the Sahara. But you got to spend money, or they're getting beat by all the other teams with these Cuban players coming out now. Spend some money. Make a splash. Come on now.
I agree with him. I think you should be spending the money.
I absolutely, and it's one thing we've seen. The Steinbrenner's sons are not the way he was. I mean, when you look at the way he was brought up, this is a tough guy who was kind of brought up in shipping. That's something that takes tough and grit. These are kids who kind of grew up with a gushy life, and I think I've heard from one report that they've said that they've had a source who said if they got a good offer, they'd sell the team. And I think that's really telling to see what these kids, kind of their mentality is. Maybe they'd rather do real estate. Maybe they don't want to own the New York Yankees. We'll see. You know,
to quote from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, you know, they're dry toast. They are so boring, these Steinbrenners, I can't take them. They're so boring that even the New York Daily News or the Post put a picture of George Steinbrenner on the back page this past spring or this past winter because this team is so boring. They've got nothing going for them. There's no juice. There's no buzz. I'd hate to say it. I'd love to see Donald Trump on the team. Well, Donald Trump would be an exciting owner.
It's sad because the fans are not going to put up with it too much longer. Mike talked about how Yankees fans have become accustomed to winning. They're going to see a drop-off at the stadium. They
saw it last year, and the ratings were terrible.
They're going to see
There was no reason to watch the games last year.
And A-Rod, believe it or not, I agree with you, Joe, that it's not really a moral thing to have him back in baseball, but he'll bring fans to the ballpark. He will have fans coming to watch him. I will be watching him because he's exciting. And Armand Mario, who's doing camera for us now, loves A-Rod as well. I got to give him a shout out. I like A-Rod. I always liked him, and I think it's because he brings an excitement factor. And with Derek Jeter gone, the Yankees would be boring without him.
I totally agree. The ratings were terrible last year, even though it was Jeter's last year. But to be honest, I think people kind of gave up on Jeter a couple years ago after the injury. There's really no reason to watch the Yankees. We hope that Sabathia is healthy, Pineda is healthy, Tanaka. These are a lot of what ifs. Will Mark Teixeira be healthy? Will we get something out of Carlos Beltran? Jacoby Ellsbury, they're worried about him. I mean, really, it's Stephen Drew? Really? This guy's making it second base? And you got DD over at shortstop and Chase Headley at third base? Come on, guys. This is a boring franchise, I hate to say. I'm more excited about the Mets this year.
I can't. I mean, everything you guys just said is 100% spot on. The attendance is going to be lower. The viewer ratings on TV is going to be lower. And that's the one reason why I think A-Rod was needed this year, because he is a ratings booster. But I think for me, that's why it's sad, because this is the New York Yankees. You shouldn't need a guy like A-Rod for ratings. Now, you give the fans a little slack because this is not a good product, like you guys just said. This is one of the most boring teams we've seen, and we have been spoiled. But you know what? The Yankees are an organization. Their motto should be demand greatness, and they have not demanded it in a long time.
And let me just say this. When I was working with XM, and I remember being at Yankee Stadium on the field with Buck Martinez, and this is back in 2007, and the Yankees had all the stars, and they were winning. You know, it was like being on Broadway every night. Watching the Yankees now is like an off-Broadway play or a college production, no offense. I mean, you can't stomach this. You know, where's the sizzle? There's no juice. The stadium's boring.
That's true.
It's antiseptic. It's medicinal. Make me sick. It's a retirement home.
There's no more buzz like there was with A-Rod and Jeter when they were both on the field together. And will we be hearing a home run from the glorious Gregorius? I called that one before Sterling said it, so I called tabs on that one. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But hopefully they turn it around this year, and hopefully they at least make the postseason. Mike Damergis, our Yankees analyst, Jersey Joe Archino, Anthony Carlo, the Sports Sit Down.